Hey everyone, Brian here with SampleLibraryReview.com, and today we're going to check out Cello One Volume 2 from Insanity Samples. So this is a new version, a kind of revamped version of their original Cello One library. This is Volume 2. So it has 4 gigabytes of samples, 4 different mic positions, and it's got a cool adaptive performance mode. So you can use key switches in the kind of traditional way to go through articulations, or you can kind of map them with their new adaptive performance mode, and I'll show you that. We've got multiple types of true legato transitions, as well as up to 8 round robins, and up to 3 dynamic layers. This does require the full version of Contact, but you can have version 5, 6, or 7. It doesn't work in the free Contact player. And at full price, it's going to retail for about $116, and the intro price is only $58 right now. So let's take a listen to what this instrument can do. It's very expressive. It's got really nice, long, evolving notes with a really nice rebow, and the tone is very, very good. So I use a variety. I have mostly legato, some trems, and then some of like the long, sort of expressive longs that they have. And then we'll also listen to the shorts and everything else later on. All right, so that was just, really threw that together fairly quickly, but it shows you kind of the tone of this library and what it really can do. All right, so let's take a look at the interface and listen to this library. Now, some of this might look a little confusing. We have expression over here, which is going to be default to your mod wheel. So that'll be CC01 to go through the dynamics. Now, you can enable and disable legato here, and then we have adaptive legato. So let's say I want it just to be fast. Just slow. More of a portamento slur there. But then you can also have this adaptive based on velocity, how hard you press the key, or based on the speed of your playing. So all up to you. Now, the way that these are mapped over here, so we have expressive longs. Those are going to trigger when you're in this specific velocity range. And this shows you exactly where you're at. So for instance, I have an expressive long, I play a note. And then if the next note I play is very, very soft, under 20 of velocity, so if I press that key very, very softly, it's going to end in a ricochet crescendo. So it'll be like this. So that last note there of the phrase, going through the legato transitions, the longs, and then the final note there, it's going to end in that ricochet crescendo. Now you can change this for how you like to play. So let's say this forzando crescendo at the end. So you hear that, you can see and hear when it triggers that. So it's really cool. And so let's say we want staccatos and then staccatessimos only on the highest velocity layer. You can do that with all of the articulations. Now, if you kind of map something here and this isn't clicked, that means the sample is not actually loaded. So if you tried this and you're mapping things around, you say, hey, I don't hear anything right now, just click that and it will load in those samples. So it's a really cool way of doing it, and it's the sound is really, really good. I think Insanity Samples really improves with each of their library releases, and the specific tone of this cello, it's very nice. So you'll notice here in this staccatissimo, I can click that, and that will like have a long loop. You can hear it obviously after the short staccatissimo, so you can. So like if I play really quickly, let me just put all of this to staccatissimo. If I just play quickly and release the key quickly, you can do that along with holding the note. So you get this sort of like performance shorts and longs all in one, which is really cool. So again, I have this as sort of the default performance mode there, with the overlays based on how hard you press the key. So let's go into traditional key switching mode, and this is going to be obviously using key switches, which are up here in the red, to go through each of the articulations. So let's listen to everything and play it around a little bit now that you've seen and heard what the performance mode is like. So like I said before, beautiful, very expressive, so much realism there. You can hear the rebow in that. Again, expressive longs, they sound really good. I could just kind of play the chords like that and jam for hours, honestly. So let's go and check out some of the other stuff. Sforzando crescendo, you heard a little bit of that earlier. It's a really beautiful bow ricochets off the strings and then plays into a crescendo. So a short note, but the staccato, obviously not as tight and succinct as the staccatissimo. Nice vibrato on there. Using the expression now. Staccatissimo, I'm going to turn off that sort of loop, the long, so it's just the shorts. So difference between the ricochet staccato that's nice and short between the, and then the ricochet crescendo. So I really like so those are the different short notes. I really like these slides. So they sound like this. I used them quite a bit in that little opening demo. So the slides says semitone / whole tone adaptive. You can link it to whatever scale you're in. You can hear how that changes depending on what scale I picked. For one scale, the G was a whole tone, and then the F was a semitone, and so on and so forth. And the other scale, it was the other way. The G was a semitone, the F was a whole tone. So you can also just go all semi or all whole tones. Then finally, trills. And again, we can link it to our scale. Really nice sound. And then the trems. So finally, so when you have that performance mode, you can also select between two different mappings here. So again, there's a ton of options for how you want to play. So this one, it's going to be staccatissimo here, and then for sono crescendo at the highest velocity, and you can play some lines with that. And then instead of opening up another instance where you remap everything, you can just hit this and it opens up a whole new set of parameters depending on your velocity and how you play. So finally we have effects. You heard the reverb on there. So it is a very dry, very, very bone dry library. If you heard the reverb anytime during this demonstration, you were like, oh, it's too wet. You can just turn it off. Use your own third-party reverbs. Simple as that. So, and then finally, the mic positions. So let's take a listen to those. So really beautiful library. Let's look at also the RAM use. So that, I mean, that mix mic sounds great. As I load them all in, we're at 1.41 gigabytes. My favorite, I really like these overheads as well. Great sound there. Little less body to it, but you know, some good distance to it. The ribbon's really warm, and then again, if you want to save RAM, that mix sounds great, and that's 307 megabytes. And you can even go back and load up all articulations. And yeah, that's still 307 megabytes for everything. Really, really cool. Really great sounding library. You heard it here for yourself. Cello One Volume 2. I know that name's kind of confusing, but I love the sound of it. Again, another great library from Insanity Samples, improving upon their previous releases but tenfold every time they release a new one. So you heard it here for yourself. Please let us know what you think in the comments. Me, personally, I love it. Great for that rootsy, folksy, very expressive cello playing. The legato is really good as well. So I will see you guys next time, and thank you for checking this one out with me.